Welcome, Rock and Metal Guardians. I hope you're doing well wherever you may find yourselves. I'm Dane, host of the channel, and welcome to another episode of Rock and Roll Cocktail. In today's video, as you can see from the overhead behind me, I'm going to rank my favorite Big Four thrash metal albums of all time. Let's go ahead and jump right in. Coming in at number 25 is Metallica, aka the Black Album. 12 songs in total. This was the follow-up, as you know, to Injustice for All. For many of us, a disappointment. For me also as well. But it does make the list. And that's because of the following songs. Sad But True, Holier Than Thou, Wherever I May Roam, Through the Never, Of Wolf and Man, The God That Failed, My Friend of Misery, and The Struggle Within. Now, of those songs, which are the ones that I only listen to, the ones that I have not mentioned, I don't listen to anymore at all, Sad But True and Holier Than Thou, of this list are my least favorite, but I do like them. My favorite here are Through the Never, Of Wolf and Man, The God That Failed, and The Struggle Within. Those are my four favorite. The Struggle Within is kind of a throwback to what we wanted or expected from a Metallica album, where the last song is arguably the heaviest. Think Metal Militia on the debut. Arguably the heaviest, not necessarily. Very thrashy, right? That kind of thing. Damage Incorporated on Master of Puppets. So this makes the list, as I said. Now, what's interesting is I discovered this about 2 years ago, maybe 3, that My Friend of Misery originally was supposed to be an instrumental that Jason Newsted won, but they went and put, other music and of course lyrics on top of that. And Jason talks about in an interview his disappointment in doing that, because he said that he wanted the band to continue doing an instrumental piece for each album, but didn't work out for this album. So anyway, there you have it, number 25. Number 24, We've Come For You All from Anthrax. Now, the first time that I heard this, way back in the day when it first came out, I thought that it had a big Pantera vibe. I listened to it quite often. It still has that Pantera vibe to it, but not as much as I first thought when I first listened to it. Again, that was a long time ago. But it does have that vibe. This is the only Bush-led album on vocals that I like. I'm a big Joey Belladonna fan. So in sparse moments, it has a Pantera vibe to it, I think. I'm not sure if that was intentional. The two songs in question that I think have the most Pantera vibe would be What Doesn't Die and Refuse to Be Denied. Those are my two favorite songs. I also like the title track. I love the song Superhero. Taking the Music Back is great. Crash, Think About an End is fabulous. And Any Place But Here. Overall, I can see Joey singing these songs. So that it has that Anthrax vibe, despite the fact that Joey's not on the album. So musically, it sounds like the Anthrax we know and love. So it's a good album. It's so cool, I think. Great album cover, as you can see. Foreshadowing the album that follows, but with Joey back on vocals, right? We'll talk about that today as well. Giving that away, that's okay. There's some acoustic moments here on this album. I like it quite a bit. And as you can see, it gets, for me, personally above the Black Album or Metallica. Number 23, United Abominations from Megadeth. The songs Never Walk Alone, ... as Megadeth likes to do, A Call to War. That's one song. Gears of War, A Tout Le Monde with Christina Scabia from Lacuna Coil, different version. My favorite version of Tout Le Monde is when, I don't remember her name, but I have this in MP3 format, when Dave's daughter sings it. It's quite good. Anyways, she has a beautiful voice. I also like the song Sleepwalker, the title track, Play for Blood, and Burnt Ice. My favorite song is the opener, Never Walk Alone, ... A Call to War. A Tout Le Monde here is quite nice, and Sleepwalker in the title track. Those are my four favorite songs on this album. I think this is an underrated album. I listened to the whole thing, but I'm just presenting, for the most part in this video, the standout tracks for me personally. All right, so that was 23. Number 22 is Divine Intervention. This, in my opinion, is Slayer's last truly wonderful album, or great album. It blends South of Heaven with Seasons in the Abyss. It's a hybrid of those two styles of the band, and I quite like it. The best songs on this album are Killing Fields, Sex, Murder, Art, and the title track. I also like Mind Control, and I also like SS3 and the song 213. These are wonderful songs. I like the whole album from start to finish, but again, these are the ones that I go to the most. All right. Number 21, Fistful of Metal, the debut from Anthrax. There's only one bad song, and for me, again, personally, the only song I don't like is Death from Above. The song would be a great song if the original singer didn't say, well, he's trying to say, or he is saying Jet Fighter, but it sounds like he's saying Ja Fighter, like Ja. So it's goofy sounding, and so I just can't take the song seriously. If they redid it with Joey, or get Neil Turbin back for it and record it, that would be wonderful. But that, just because of that one little flaw, I just can't listen to the song anymore. But what an album for a debut. I think it's wonderful. Death Rider, Metal Thrashing Mad, Panic, Subjugator, Soldiers of Metal, the band title track, Anthrax, and Across the River / Howling Furies is my favorite song on the album, the closer. Wonderful. I'm a big Greek mythology fan, but that's not why the song's my favorite. I just love it. It's great. All right. Oh, I love the whole album as a except for one song. All right, number 20, The System Has Failed. Also an underrated album from Megadeth, if you ask me. You have some standouts. Blackmail the Universe, Kick the Chair is my favorite. Tears in a Vial, great song. Something That I'm Not, I also gravitate to the song. I have to play this every time I hear it. Put on the album. Truth Be Told, Of Mice and Men, I'm quite fond of, and My Kingdom. So, Chris Poland plays on this a little bit, I do believe. I don't think he plays on the whole album, but it has kind of, even the album cover kind of seems to be a throwback to Peace Sells Who's Buying. Not exactly musically, and not just because Chris Poland plays on it, but in spurts you get that Peace Sells vibe, and I do like it. As I said, I think it's underrated. All right, number 19, Cryptic Writings. This is to Megadeth what the Black Album is to Metallica. Or you could argue Megadeth did 2 Black Albums. That would be this one and Risk. Cryptic Writings. The songs I like that stand out the best for me are Trust, Almost Honest, Use the Man, I'll Get Even, Sin, A Secret Place, She-Wolf, Love She-Wolf, and Vortex. So I know this is a more accessible and commercial album, but I like it more than Metallica's 5th album or the Black Album or just called Metallica, right? So there you have it. Cryptic Writings coming in at number 19. Number 18 is So Far, So Good, So What. The opening track's not really a big fan of. I'll Set the World on Fire, an instrumental that leads into Anarchy in the UK, I believe. And then there's another song. It's really side 2 that makes this album. Mary Jane, 502, In My Darkest Hour, Wow, Liar, Wow, and Hook and Mouth. Now, Mary Jane, I think, is underrated. 502 is a fun song about speeding and getting pulled over police or avoiding the police, right? I like the song quite a bit. In My Darkest Hour, of course, is Mustaine dealing with the loss of his friend Cliff Burton. Liar, I'm going to be bold here and say there's a one verse where Dave Mustaine pulls a Bob Dylan, and he kind of like Johnny's in the Basement, mixing up that kind of tone, that kind of phrasing. He does that in one part. It's great. I like it. And my favorite song is the closer, Hook and Mouth. The song never gets old for me. It's amazing. So I do like this album, hence coming at number 18. All right, Endgame, number 17. Great instrumental, Dialectical Chaos. That song even made it onto one of the iterations of the NHL video game franchise. This Day We Fight, 44 minutes, the title track. Head Crusher, How the Story Ends is phenomenal, and The Right to Go Insane is also phenomenal. So Endgame, I got to put this in here as well. Number 16, the debut for Megadeth. Not a great album, but hey, I do like it. Here we go. With the exception of the Nancy Sinatra song, These Boots, it's a great album from start to, it's a good album, from start to finish. Last Rites, Love to Death, the title track, The Skull Beneath the Skin, Chosen Ones, Looking Down the Cross, and Mechanics. I know it's a different version of The Four Horsemen. Not as good as The Four Horsemen, but I do like it. I remember in an interview James Hetfield saying that Dave Mustaine, talking about Mechanics specifically, that he can't write good song lyrics. I disagree. Look at Hook and Mouth, look at This Day We Fight, look at Trust, look at Tout Le Monde. So anyway, Killing Is My Business coming in at number 16. Number 15, Seasons in the Abyss. This is my second album from Slayer that I ever got. The first one I ever got was Rain and Blood, and I got it on vinyl as a teenager in high school, and I didn't keep it long. I ended up throwing it in the trash because of the opening song, Angel of Death, because I thought it was being insensitive, and of course I learned later that it's not meant to be insensitive. Well, I get why people take it that way, but it's meant to be a song from the point of view of that person and how evil they are. So it's not glorifying violence. It's warning us about the violence. So I have it on CD now. This combines the mood, vibe, sound of Rain and Blood and South of Heaven. And I think the band did that on deliberately. So the title track is great. It's my favorite song. It's the closer, right? War Ensemble, Blood Red, Spirit in Black, Expendable Youth, and Dead Skin Mask. Those are the standout tracks for me. So I mentioned Rain and Blood. Of course, Angel of Death is not on here. But I'll get to that. It is in my list. But what I was trying to say was Rain and Blood was the first album I ever owned by them, and then this was the second because my sister gave the CD to me because she worked in a record store at the time. And this is years before I ever worked in a record store or CD store, and she gives this to me because it was a promo, and I've lost the promo, so I've had to reorder this on CD. I should be getting it in a couple days. But anyway, so one more time, a great album, I think, because it combines Rain and Blood and South of Heaven, and I went through the tracks that I like the most, and my favorite being the title track, Seasons in the Abyss. All right, number 14 is Euthanasia. Train of Consequences, great song. If you've not seen it, go on YouTube and type in Train of Consequences, Megadeth, David Letterman Show, and you'll get Paul Schaefer on harmonica. It's fabulous. I have it in MP3 format. So after Train of Consequences, I like Addicted to Chaos, A Tout Le Monde, the original version, with Mustaine on vocals, the title track, Black Curtains, and Victory. All right, number 13, this next one, wow. Worship Music, the comeback album, the return to form with respect to Joey Belladonna being on vocals. I would say We've Come For You All with Bush that I mentioned earlier is in many ways a return to form musically but not vocally. But this one is the whole package because you got Joey back in vocals. This is an album that is wonderful from start to finish. My favorite songs are Judas Priest, Crawl, The Constant, and Revolution Screams, the closer, being my favorite. Again, I'm a big fan of, hey, you have to have an album closer that is dynamite, and it's definitely here. Again, a great album from start to finish. Not a disappointment. I would argue this is one of the best heavy metal comeback albums of all time, if not top 20 comeback albums of all time. All right, number 12. Sticking with Anthrax, Spreading the Disease. Madhouse, The Enemy, Aftershock, Armed and Dangerous, the, of course, Joey version. Medusa's my favorite song on here. Oh, it's so heavy, Gung Ho, I do like. So these 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, these 6 songs are the best. I like the whole album, though. Armed and Dangerous has an acoustic beginning, just so amazing, and then Joey pipes in, comes in, and oh, man, it's just great. I would say Armed and Dangerous, Aftershock, and Medusa are my 3 favorite songs. Got this on vinyl as a teen. All right, number 11, South of Heaven. Oops. This is slower than Rain and Blood, the follow-up to Rain and Blood, but it doesn't disappoint. Love the title track, Silent Scream, Live Undead, or Live Undead, maybe, Spill the Blood, Mandatory, fill in the blank, and Ghosts of War. Great album. It's different from Rain and Blood, but hey, it works. I love this album. All right, number 10. Countdown to Extinction. Skin of My Teeth. Symphony of Destruction, my favorite song on the album. Sweating Bullets, High Speed Dirt, Psychotron, and Ashes in Your Mouth. Great song. All these songs are wonderful. My favorite, as I said, Symphony of Destruction. Probably my second favorite would be Ashes in Your Mouth. Great album, I think. All right, number 9. Ride the Lightning. Fight Fire with Fire is amazing. A precursor of what's to come with Master of Puppets because of the acoustic intro, so that light and shade, right? Then you get the title track, Ride the Lightning is amazing. For Whom the Bell Tolls, of course, a staple of them still today. Fade to Black, one of the most amazing, slow, depressing as hell, but slow, heavy metal songs of all time. Closing out side 1, Creeping Death, my favorite song on this album, and Call of Cthulhu, one of my favorite instrumentals of all time. The ending is superb. I just love it. Partially written by Mustaine himself. Kirk is just phenomenal here. I wish he'd play more like this than the stuff that he's doing now. But what a great album. It cracks the top 10 above, as I said, Countdown to Extinction, and deservedly so. I don't like Trapped Under Ice, and I don't like Escape. I think those two songs are not very good. All right, number 8, Show No Mercy. Evil Has No Boundaries, The Antichrist, Die by the Sword, easily my favorite song here. The title track, Tormentor, Metal Storm, Face the Slayer. So partially, Face the Slayer may be their band title track, if you will. The whole album's great from start to finish, but those are 7 best songs in the album. All right, number 7, boom, 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 boom. All right, Peace Sells, But Who's Buying? Title track is great. Devil's Island, my second favorite song. I like The Conjuring. I know Dave doesn't play it anymore. I love Wake Up Dead. Good Morning Black Friday, still something I go to. Bad Omen I like, and My Last Words. Those are the best songs of the album. I think it's slightly marred by the I Ain't Superstitious song, but other than that, everything else on this album is wonderful. All right, number 6, And Justice for All. Despite the fact that the bass is low in the mix or hardly there, it's still a wonderful album, just short of amazing. The only song I don't listen to anymore is the instrumental. It's just too darn depressing. But what can you say about the opener, Blackened, and Justice for All? The title track is amazing. One, still amazing to me. Shortest Straw, Afraid Ends of Sanity, and Dyer's Eve. So Dyer's Eve, like the Black Album, like the albums that came before, ending the album strong with with the exception of Fade to Black, which is very slow compared to these. You're still ending the album strong with Fade to Black, but everything else from the first album through and including the Black Album, you have a very upbeat, up-tempo, fast song, right? So great. All right, And Justice for All. Number 5, Rain and Blood, as I was saying earlier. Songs I like the most on here, Angel of Death, Altar of Sacrifice, Reborn, Epidemic, and Postmortem. I think those 3 are back-to-back. 1, 2, 3 punch, right? Reborn, Epidemic, Postmortem. And then, what a wonderful song to close out the album. Kind of a title track. It's not Rain, R-E-I-G-N, as you know, but Raining Blood. It's fabulous. Top 5 for me of all time, Slayer-wise. And if you get a chance, if you've not heard it, Tori Amos does a version of this on one of her EPs that I used to have CD-wise, but it's in MP3 format now. Got destroyed from the hurricane. But it's even creepier than Slayer's because you have this beautiful voice singing in a slow vein, and it's even more haunting because of that. It's very disturbing, but it's also good because, as you know, Tori Amos she just has a wonderful and compelling. I do like Tori Amos. I haven't talked about her on the channel, but she has a beautiful voice, just so compelling and creepier than the Slayer, if you can imagine that. I don't want to say I love this cover, but it like so many of the Slayer covers, it reminds me of the Hieronymus Bosch painting The Garden of Delights. Like it's a snippet from that. I guess that's what they were going for with some of these albums, like South of Heaven, this one, and Hell Awaits, that kind of thing, right? Speaking of Hell Awaits, so that was number 5. Number 4 is Hell Awaits. Start to finish album, another one. Title track, Kill Again, At Dawn They Sleep, Crypts of Eternity, and Hardening of the Arteries are my favorite tracks on here. All right, number 3. Some days I think this should be higher, but it has to be here. Talk about an album that's great from start to finish. Holy Wars, ... The Punishment Due. 2 songs in one. The first part, as you know, is about, the lyrics, right? Killing for religion is something I don't understand. I agree with you, Dave. So it speaks to us about the human condition and how we need to evolve and become better humans, right? I'm not going to be preachy here, but I'll just say that. And then, of course, The Punishment Due. A quick history of Dave's favorite comic book character, the Punisher. All right, Hangar 18, Tornado of Souls, Dawn Patrol, and then Rust in Peace, ... Polaris. Those are 1, 2, 3, my 5 favorite songs. But as I said, this album is wonderful from start to finish. Number 2, Master of Puppets. Like Ride the Lightning, you get an opening track, as I said, with an acoustic intro. Then it gets heavy. That light and shade's wonderful. The title track is amazing. Welcome Home Sanitarium, in parentheses, is fabulous. Disposable Heroes, great song, great message. Orion, Disposable Heroes, let me go back to that. If you ever seen the movie Rambo, the first one, at the end, his ranking officer, I forget, Richard Crenna plays him, I forget his rank, asks Rambo, what do you want? And he says, what I want is for my country to love me as much as I love it. So Disposable Heroes kind of approaching those waters, if you will, with that type of thing, right? Orion, great instrumental. I love it. And there's a bit in the middle of the song that reminds me of the Necromancer from Rush. Hammett being a big Rush fan, not sure if it's intentional. Kind of sounds like it. Not exactly, but makes me think of it as very favorable to that. And finally, the last song is, as you know, Damage Incorporated, ending, as I said, the album on a high note with a very fast song. So again, my favorite songs: Battery, title track, Welcome Home, Disposable Heroes, Orion, Damage Incorporated. I barely ever listened to Leper Messiah, and The Thing That Should Not Be anymore. Anyway, I have to be in the mood. So you you probably figured out what my number one is. Yes, of course, it's Kill 'Em All. Great album from start to finish. Hit the Lights. What a great way to open the album. Just pounding drums, and then you get the right across the guitar strings, and then super fast, right? And then Hit the Lights. Wow. 1-2 punch. Amazing. Whiplash is my next song that stands out on the album. And then, so I'll mention Anesthesia, Pulling Teeth. A cool intro. A cool instrumental. Jump in the Fire is okay. But boy, side 2, amazing. Side 2 is as good as Hit the Lights, Four Horsemen, and Whiplash. Phantom Lord, No Remorse, Seek and Destroy, Metal Militia. Wow, a 1-2-3-4 punch. It's a fabulous album. This is the purest thrash album that I can think of. Therefore, it's my favorite. It's so raw as it should be. It's not polished like Ride the Lightning. But man, this is what thrash metal should be, folks. The rawness, the heaviness, the fast, the lightning speed, the harsh vocals, but sound harsh vocals that sound great. And again, in many ways, if you've not heard, I'm sure most of you have, James Hetfield has stoned in many ways the way he used to sing for some reason. I don't get that, but I love the way he sings on the first 4 albums. Anyway, okay, so you're probably wondering, you've not mentioned Death Magnetic, Persistence of Time, and World Painted Blood. I do like these. These would be in my top 30. I'm just doing top 25, but I'm not sure where they would go in 26 through 30. As far as the rest of Anthrax and Metallica goes, with the exception of Death Magnetic, everything else by Anthrax and Metallica would be at the bottom if I were to rank everything from these 4 bands. And then in between the bottom and what I've presented you today, along with Death Magnetic, Persistence of Time, and World Painted Blood, somewhere would be the rest of Slayer and the rest of Megadeth combined somehow. But I'm not sure exactly where they would go. Maybe I'll do another part 2. I'm not sure if I will. But I was going for, as you can tell, the 25 that are the ones I listen to the most. They're my favorite. But I'll say this. The problem with Anthrax is the silliness. Doing rap songs with UTFO and Public Enemy, not my cup of tea. I don't like that hybrid rap metal stuff. I never did. They have an EP with Sabbath. They do their version of Sabbath, Bloody Sabbath. That is a wonderful cover version of that wonderful Black Sabbath song. So anyway, here you go, folks. Please post in the comments what you think about my list. Am I missing something? Is there something that shouldn't belong in the list, the opposite, right? And I don't say this very often, but please consider subscribing to the channel. It would really help me out and help the channel grow. Thank you so much for watching. Take care now. Bye.